Hello, classmates and teacher. My name is Ixel and I'm going to talk to you about Taoism. Well, Taoism is based on Tao, which means path and forms of the supreme reality and cosmological and ontological principle of all things that surround us. One thing important is that Taoism is a philosophy of life and also that it is originated in China and is practiced in China, in South Korea, and in Japan. Taoism itself isn't a type of religion and doesn't obey a series or groups of different norms and precepts. It consists of teachings that to help us love and embrace life and environment that surround us throughout breathing. Its main objective is achieve the immortality that involves living longevity and fully. Taoism doesn't have a god or an omnipotent being beyond the cosmos who has created and who controls the universe. In Taoism, the world is from Tao, and Tao impersonally gives things on its way. Taoists revere Lao Tzu as the first god of Taoism, and is a personification of Tao, who is a Chinese thinker and who created Taoism. They believe in naturalness, vitality, peace, flexibility, spontaneity, and relativism related to the way of living and behaving. For them, man is a kind of microcosmos of the universe which is closely linked with fire, air, metal, water, and wood, and which is related at the same time with the fifth season of the year. His safest book of Taoism is the Tao Te Ching, which is an invaluable guide to living life according to nature and help us to achieve serenity of the soul. Among the food that generates energy are brown rice, barley, millet, oats, wheat, nuts, seeds, toffee, and seaweed. Taijitu is the representative form of yin and yang, which represents duality and continuous change. It is based of two opposing forces that complement each other that can be found in everything that surrounds us. The yin is the feminine part, the earth, the passivity, and the absorption, and the yang is the masculine part that represents the light, the sky, and the activity. The virtuous life establishes living in piety, magnitude, honesty, inactivity, introspection, fishing, and self-dental. But also in Taoism, it says that we must avoid violence, greed, prejudices, and the acceptance of conventionalism. The principal dress used in Taoism is the kimono, that it consists in two long superposed dress, and the yukata, that is a kind of kimono but made with cotton. There are used in summer, in festivals, and as clothes at home. In Taoism, weddings are performed. The people who come to this link are in charge of bringing male children to preserve the patriarchal system. The coronation is also held, which is where a son is honored for reaching 20 years old. The funeral rites are celebrated with jumps, shoots, and parties of joy because their love go to other world. And finally, they also carry out the sacrifices, in which they deliver food to express worship relating to the participants and honor the spirits by inviting them to eat food.
Taoist practice is based on the understanding of experience, essence, and being. Give priority to the internal over the external. It implies that acting naturally helps nature to take its normal course and recognizes the connection between the internal and the external part. Each practice involves flexibility, creativity, clarity, and stillness to feel life. In the Taoist tradition, the well-being of a person depends on the harmony of body, mind, and spirit. Taoist training integrates all these aspects that lead to the transformation of the whole person. And the teaching says that we are all born with a spark of goodness, sometimes called our original nature. By learning and practicing the Taoist arts, we can walk a path that leads us back to the original nature, to a state of natural health, stillness, and clarity of mind, to a spirit of harmony and compassion for the world and for all around us. The Taoist arts included a rich variety of practices that have been handed down through the ages. All can be understood as different forms of meditation. Some emphasize movement in stillness and included walking, standing, sitting, and laying down. Others focus on stillness in motion and included Tai Chi, chants and ceremonies, and many other related practices. Taoism teaches that any activities can become a form of meditation if done with the right intention. It also includes teachings that help us tame our hearts and develop an attitude of calm, compassion, and less self-centeredness, but during practice and in everyday life. In our organization, this is expressed in the deeply integrated value of volunteering and serving others, which is present in everything we do. Taoism is a philosophical stream that emerged in China at the time of the 100 School of Tao, and that formed the basis of current ancient thinking. His biggest thinker was Lao Tse or Laozi. Laozi bases his philosophy on the inherent harmony of the nature and defined as Tao. Wrote in Spanish, the description of the Tao is found in the book Tao Te Ching or Tao De Jing, which means Book of Why, Virtue. The work is a compilation of the several authors of the same doctrine, whose principal author is Laozi. Although Taoism was not born as a religious system, in the 2nd century AD it was imposed as doctrine worship in China, and imperial press signed the link because the first priors of this belief. Taoism as a philosophical system. These are some of the characteristics of Taoism. Understood as philosophical current is highly valuable, such as compassion, goodness, mercy, sacrifice, honesty, equity, teaching, analysis, introspection, harmony with natural self-denial and magnanimity. It lacks a dogma to which it should be followed. It rejects concepts or belief based on dogmatic prejudice of submission, such as religion, submission, nationalism, or filial loyalty. Taoism as a religion. As a religion system, Taoism incorporates ideas from the naturalist school or yin-yang school. These are some of their most representative foundations. It is a based of the existence of three forces: an active force, yang, and passive force, yin, and a third force containing the other two, called Tao. The Tao is the source from which everything exists, but still cannot be reached by human thought. Hence, one of the main sentences of the Tao Te King claims that the Tao that can be called Tao is not the real Tao. And the last one, the Tao has no space and no time and is the source of the natural order.
Hi everyone, today I'm going to present about paganism. So I'm going to start. The December solstice marks the longest night and shortest day of the year in the northern hemisphere. In ancient pagan traditions, the winter solstice was a time to honor the cycles of life and death and celebrate the sun's rebirth, as the days will slowly begin to lengthen in the months leading into spring. Many modern practitioners of pagan and earth-centered spiritual traditions observe the holiday, and at Stonehenge, the celebration is particularly special. Stonehenge holds a place of sacred importance to many. Much of its history is still shrouded in mystery. Through one thing that's sure is that it was built upon a landscape that had long been used for religious purposes. As pagans, they don't have like public buildings specifically. They believe that religious ceremonies are best conducted outdoors. Rituals often take place in woods or caves, on hilltops, or along the seashore. To pagans, the finest places of worship are those not built by human hands, as well as stone circles in parks and private homes and gardens. Women and men almost always worship together, and paganism generally emphasizes equality. In certain paths, however, women may take the leading role as representative of the preeminence of the female principle. As you can see, here is Emma. She is the chief druid. Ceremonies usually begin with a mark of a ritual circle, a symbol of sacred space which has neither beginning nor end, and within which all stand as equals at the quarter points. The four directions and the corresponding elements of air, fire, and water will be acknowledged and be welcome. And about their eating habits, so they have like a paleo diet. So the idea of the paleo is that the diet is followed that is similar to the humans who live in the Stone Age, and modern foods are eliminated. This means a paleo diet is full of meat, vegetables, and moderate amounts of fruit and nuts. Grain, beans, added sugar, and many types of oils are not included in a paleo diet because they are considered as modern additions to the diet. Also, a vegan diet eliminates all animal products and places focus on only plant-based foods. This means no meat, dairy, and no eggs, as well as no products made or produced from animals like honey, litter, and this diet can be difficult for people to follow and abide by due to the fact that animal products are hidden in many foods. Of course, they have subdivisions. The first one is heathenry. It's a term used to describe the religious practice of two main groups of people, one historical and one modern. The original heathens were the pre-Christian North European people who lived 1,000 and more years ago in the lands around what is now called the North Sea. This includes the people of Anglo-Saxon England, Scandinavia, German, and Frisia. Modern heathen groups around the world are reviving these old practices and call their religion by various names, including Asatru, the Northern tradition, Odinism, foreign seed, Germanic pagan reconstructionism, or simply heathenry. In Iceland, which did not convert to Christianity until the 11th century, heathenry has once again become an official religion. Heathens work to build healthy relationships with gods and goddesses, ancestors, spirits of the land, and others in the communities, both through holy rites and through their day-to-day actions. And of course, about his wedding, so the pagan wedding ceremonies are called hemfestings and mark the becoming together of two people in a format, loving and equal sexual partnership. Pagans take the swearing of oaths very seriously in it and believe it's important that they articulate the sincere, considerate intentions of the individuals concerned rather than merely repeating of a star formula. Accordingly to the vows, a couple will swear to each other before their gods and goddesses during a hens-feeding will be carefully discussed and decided even by the beforehand in consulting with the priestess or priest who will officiate at the ceremony. I'm so sorry. While all couples will vow to love, honor, respect, and protect both of each other and their children. The responsibility for the form of the committed relationship they are undertaking ultimately lies with them. Although paganism covers a wide spectrum of ideas, these elements sum up the beliefs of the majority. The recognition of the divine in nature is at the heart of pagan belief. Pagans are deeply aware of the natural world and see the power of the divine in the ongoing cycle of life and death. Most pagans are eco-friendly, seeking to live in a way that minimizes harm to the natural environment. Pagans worship the divine in many different forms through feminine as well as masculine imagery, and also is as without gender. The most important and widely recognized of these are the god and goddesses, whose annual cycle of procreation, giving birth, and dying defines the pagan year. Paganism strongly emphasizes equality of the sexes. Women play a permanent role in the modern pagan movement, and goddesses worship features in most pagan ceremonies. Like I said first, there are another subdivisions of the paganism, so the other one is Wicca. And Wicca is a pagan witchcraft tradition. Today, the name Wicca is frequently applied to the entire system of beliefs and practices that make up the spectrum of contemporary pagan witchcraft. However, although Wicca and witchcraft are often used interchangeably, I'm so sorry. And it is important to know that there are also pagan witchcraft traditions that are not Wiccan. Wicca was used originally to distinguish the initiatory. I don't know how to say that, but I'm so sorry. Tradition of witchcraft practices are religion, but American popular television series have adopted the word to include that. Would once have been called natural magic or white witchcraft. When people in Britain describe themselves as Wiccan through, they generally mean that they are practicing a form of religious witchcraft. And of course, media images often show Wiccans as teenage women, but in fact, it is practiced by males and females of all ages. So I hope you enjoy our presentation, and thank you for your attention.
Atheism, in the broadest sense, is an absence of belief in the existence of deities. Also, atheism is contrasted with theism, which in its most general form is the belief that at least one deity exists. In antiquity, it had multiple use as a pejorative term applied to those thought to reject the god worshipped by the larger society. There are not many rituals or things that commit an atheist because there is nothing to celebrate or believe in. They literally believe that they want to believe without any rule or specification. There are some nations worldwide that put aside their beliefs, and some of them are world powers, like China, the UK, Sweden, and Czech Republic. They are the countries where the most atheists live. In case of Mexico, there is only 8% of the atheist population. For example, in China, only like 9% of its inhabitants consider themselves religious. 67% are atheists, and 23% call themselves not religious. Atheists don't have a wedding ceremony. They just have a civil marriage, like this, and they make their own rules. I have seen an example about a couple who want to implement a non-religious ritual at their wedding and choose to put a lot of flowers, trees, and nature, and for them it worked perfectly. Regarding food, atheists consume excess meat and less vegetables, but everyone has their own ways as they are very open, compared to any other religion in which it's even forbidden to eat meat on certain days. Atheists are certainly not strict at all, as they have the freedom to wear whatever they want to wear, no matter what. Article 18 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights ensures that we all have the right to our own beliefs, to have a religion, to have none or change it. Declaring atheism or rejecting the dominant religion can carry a death sentence in 13 countries around the world. In these all Muslim countries, laws punish with death those who choose to abandon Islam, criticize the religion in a way deemed blasphemous, according to data compiled for the latest Freedom of Thought report. And then we have the Sunday Assembly, like looks any other religious congregation, but there is a detail that differentiates from a church. All the participants are atheists. According to its creators, the idea is to have a place where non-believers meet to listen to good talks, sing good music, and celebrate life. This instead of progressive sermons. The patients listen to except for scientist texts.